Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 561 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Well, honestly, there's been a lot that's been going on. Even though I'm on vacation and stuff, things are still rolling, things are still happening. For those of you that are a viewing audience or part of a viewing audience and stuff, I actually went through and invested inside of a boom arm and stuff, and also another little pop filter here for my microphone. Love it so
Mm.
far. It is doing exactly the job that I wanted to do, which is clearing up a lot of space on the table on top of having something that's mounted and secure so I don't mess up any
Yeah,
cords.
we did find out that removing the microphone from Gable's table gives him room for 5 more Jack and Cokes. So that's pretty great.
But other than that, though, I also made a couple big purchases. It was not the only big purchase and stuff. It was also another pair of headphones because I need something to listen to while I am working in the yard. Love the beats that I found, the beats that I bought and stuff like that. But I also invested in an Xbox Series X. And there's a
Uh,
reason for that. And there's actually a couple different reasons for
mm.
that. One of which was kind of stupid at first thought, but actually started becoming like very smart idea. I have a couple of Xboxes already, right? I have the Xbox One that I had bought pre-owned back around 2019, and then I bought the Series S like not even like a few months ago or something over at Pawn Shop, right? And don't get me wrong, the Xbox Series S and stuff is a fine machine and stuff. It works well, everything else and stuff. But to kill pretty much two birds with one stone, I wanted to get rid of the Xbox One plus like the Xbox Series S, and if I could find like a decent like Series X or something like that. It's basically just gave me one last excuse to actually invest inside of
Yeah.
one. So yeah, I now am a proud owner of an Xbox Series X. I have it plugged in, and it's right next to my PS5 inside the that little cubby thing inside my freaking TV stand. I have tried it out quite a bit. I've played a couple different indie games that I have downloaded on there, like Ravenlock and like there was another one too. The Curious.
The last case of Benedict Fox.
Yeah, I tried playing that plus like Ravenlock and stuff. But because a lot of my time has been spent playing Street Fighter 6 this past week, I mean, I haven't really delved into like the nitty gritty.
I'm sorry. I like you spend $500 on the world's most powerful console, and then you test it out with two indie games. I don't know
It's kind of,
why.
I know, right? I know, right? And I know how it sounds, dude, but no, there is a reason why I bought that system, and it's predominantly because the game's coming out on Game Pass. Like Liza P, like Starfield, like the Forza Motorsports and stuff like that. I'm talking about games that will definitely
Yeah, you're
have the
definitely gonna.
Xbox Series
Yeah,
X.
yeah. I want to try to get one before Hellblade 2, so that's kind of my plan.
Oh my
Hope
gosh.
well,
But
hopefully.
yeah, I tried initially playing those two games and stuff, but yeah, those were like the initial big purchases and stuff. But other than that, it's actually been kind of an interesting week itself because not only it's vacation time for me, but also it's because I've gotten a lot of yard work stuff done, gaming stuff, obviously. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. So how have you been, Tyler?
I'm all right. It's been a week. I was also on vacation. Didn't feel like it, but I was on vacation. Yeah, I spent the week over at my family's house taking care of. I talked about a couple weeks ago. We found our dog Gunner. He has cancer, so wanted to spend the week with him. So he's only got a few more months. So make sure he's doing okay. He's on some new medication, and just want to spend. This is probably the last time I'm gonna be able to spend some real quality time with him. So, kind of important for me to do that. So that was
Yeah.
kind of a nice little twofer, but was still pretty exhausting. And he's like running a fever. So we have like my parents have like super cold at their house. Uh, so I spent the whole week just freezing. So because it's very cold. It's like in like my parents got like the mid 60s, low 60s in the house. Uh, and
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's very cool. I was like, I was bringing my Series S over every day. It's just easier to move,
Uh-huh.
and plus got all the Game Pass games. So I was taking that over with me. So like in between naps, I do a little bit of gaming. So I was playing. I was just dicking around with a lot of like Series S games this week. Um, but I was like, under a quilt with like pants, like I had my jeans on, socks, and I was wearing like a really thick Carhartt shirt literally a quilt over me on the couch with my hands under the blanket playing the games, and I was still freezing. But
Oh my god,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, but it was a good week. I mean, other than other than Gunner having cancer, like I'd much rather be doing hanging out with him, and and playing games in a super cold room than be working. So, yeah. But overall, it was a pretty decent week. I slept in pretty good today, so that was nice. So, I got like dude. I didn't even take a Benadryl or nothing. I got almost 9 hours today.
That's pretty fucking
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's like 2 nights of sleep for me. So that's pretty fucking great. So yeah, I felt pretty good. I woke up and like, oh shit. Okay, cool. This is it.
I have
This is
energy.
it. Yeah, this is weird. Like, what the fuck's going on? The sun's up. This is weird. Yeah. Wow,
Yep.
I don't feel like shit. What the fuck's going on with that? But no, I'm doing pretty good. It was kind of nice to. We did a lot of podcasting this last week.
Yes, we
Gables and I
did.
did two live reactions, one to Capcom and one to Xbox, and then also did four podcasts. We did one for like a breakdown of Summer Game Fest, um, Xbox, Ubisoft, and Capcom. So check those out. Go back check those out. A couple of them are short episodes. Like the Ubisoft one's like 40 minutes. Capcom one is 20 minutes, and 18 of that is just me ranting. So felt good, Gables. I gotta tell you, I felt like $1,000,000 after that Capcom podcast because sometimes it's just good to get all the aggression out. Just gotta get all that frustration out.
Yeah.
And I let Capcom have it, and I felt pretty good about it. But yeah, so if you're listening to us or watching us, whatever, like, follow, subscribe, look down in the show notes down below, and you'll see links to all of our socials and uh, where all the podcasts are at, and like YouTube. But if you want to, you want to watch some of those, like we do have like the live reactions to Xbox and Capcom, go check those out. Got those. We had a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. Definitely glad we were both on vacation for those because yeah, like
Yes.
yeah, we're just talking about and watching people talk about video games and trailers, but you definitely feel it once it's over.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was definitely like Tuesday when it was all over. I was sitting at my parents' house. I'm like, I am exhausted, especially there were late nights. So it was like late nights, getting up early. It took me I think it took me like a good day and a half to recover from those. Um, but yeah, no, it was great, good times. Not a lot going on this week though, Gables, in the world of news, pretty much, which is typical. Usually this E3 Summer Game Fest week, like we just get flooded with a bunch of information and like a bunch of random stuff that happens,
Yeah.
during and maybe the day after, like smaller stuff, like little, more details, some of the stuff we saw. Then kind of like the going into that following week, there's nothing. Usually we just take this weekend off. We'll just like record a bunch of content, bank it, and then we'll just release something in the weekend. But um, I don't know. Maybe we should have done that. I don't know. But we're here now, so we're doing this. But I thought
Yep.
Gables after
Hmm.
Summer Game Fest, Gables.
Yeah.
But actually, before we get into that, final thoughts. You can spend how much more time you want. What was your kind of final thoughts on Summer Game Fest as a whole in 2023?
Okay, so the whole Summer Game Fest, I felt kind of like half and half about. I mean, we did hear a bunch of decent stuff, like in the Xbox showcase and then like the whole initial Summer Games Fest like show and stuff that had some good parts to it as well. But it definitely felt like it was kind of like a hodgepodge of stuff because we had Ubisoft that did their forward and everything like that, and it was all
Yeah,
right, in terms of that. But then you have the Capcom one, which would barely had any type of information, and it was just better off kind of like its own. It was just better off just updates on their
better off
YouTube
just not
page or
happening.
some shit. Just better off just not happening in some cases, yes. And yeah, there were some interesting parts of the whole Summer Games Fest so far, like as a whole for that week, but it really wasn't like over the top, like nonstop drops, like okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is
Yeah,
happening, kind of like what some people were to expect. But I think partially what I really did enjoy from this summer's Game Fest and stuff is the quality of the summer Game Fest like thing that Keeley hosted was definitely an improvement over the past previous iterations of it. Obviously, I felt like this was his best like one that he has
yeah,
done so
totally
far
agree.
by. by probably like a mile, in my honest opinion. Then the Xbox Game Showcase and stuff like that, that was pretty fine too. I mean, we got a bunch of confirmations on a couple different games that we were wondering about, like Fable and stuff like that, Avowed. I mean, including a bits of like updates and stuff for specific games that are coming to Game Pass. They showcase like the Persona 3 Reload stuff and like Tactica
It's
stuff that's coming by the end of this
yeah.
year onto
Is it
Game
metaphors
Pass.
early next year?
Yeah, and so it was kind of more aligned to what I was expecting Xbox to really go forth and put through for their announcement stuff. Basically, more Game Pass stuff, things that we haven't heard too much about. And then obviously that full on thing with Starfield was just
Yeah.
the cherry on top. And that initially had me going to where I was on the fence about it. And now I absolutely want to play that game. And it was one of the influences to where I wanted a Series X to play
Yeah.
it.
Fair enough. It's 125 gigabyte download. They said, not including
Sheesh.
the day one patch.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude. That's a lot,
Yeah.
man. Oh man, that's actually more than like some Destiny 2 things that I've downloaded
Yeah.
before.
That's like we're getting like Modern Warzone territory with that stuff. So um,
But then again, from what they're aiming with the game itself, it doesn't surprise me it's that
no,
big.
not at all. It's definitely like it's a good reason to get to, with that terabyte hard drive. It's definitely a good reason to
Hmm.
upgrade because you're gonna need the room because I have the Series S, but that's like a third of the room on that Series S once you take out the OS and everything. So uh,
I know,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What were your thoughts though?
I can wait really really positive. Like it's like I don't know like I think we're all just trying to like put all this like there's definitely a lot of pressure on it because like it's the de facto E3 replacement, and there's like
Yeah.
people like us that we grew up watching E3. We watched the G4 stuff back in the day. We read all the we used to go online
Yep.
read all the articles and like I don't know if like I know like I used to like hit the refresh button when you people like watch like you'd be on like GameSpot or IGN and there'd be the live blog of what's
Yes.
happening, and like
Yep.
watching all the videos like the next day because like the early back in the early 2000s like you didn't get trailers right away like you had to wait sometimes
Oh
a long
no.
time to get those. So like
Live
yeah the
feeds.
yeah
Just live updates from
yeah
journalists just typing on their computers and we just read the
yeah
texts.
you couldn't see anything, you're just hearing you're just reading what they're saying. Yeah, like there's that nostalgia factor. There's like, I mean, there's definitely like, to me, like E3 is much like Pokemon, where it's like, there's a lot of problems with it, but like it's got the nostalgia, it's got it's that childhood memories, that like those fond childhood memories. It kind of gives you back to that, and it's like, sadly, it's over due to like just basically it's a lot, um, just idiocy from ESA. Basically, they killed themselves. Jeff Keighley said it best. ESA killed them. E3 killed E3. Brett screwed Brett. Okay. Um,
Good analogy there.
um, but yeah, like I think we're all like witch casting, like all this, like where it's like, oh, man, we're gonna have big bangers, and we had those. But like, I think you could
Yes,
tell like part of it is like Jeff Keighley. You could tell he does not have the relationship with Nintendo that he has had with like when Reggie was there and Iwata was there. Like those two are, Iwata
absolutely.
passed about a decade, almost it's crazy, almost a decade ago now, and
Almost a decade ago too, yeah, and that shows in terms of like the relationship because Keighley and Nintendo, because of the ties with Reggie Fils-Aimé and like Satoru Iwata and stuff like that, you could tell that they would get some aspects of it, maybe not a lot,
they always have
but
something like
it
at worst it'd be like a DLC character for Smash. That was still pretty awesome.
that was
Yeah,
true.
like the
But
Sephiroth one was like the last I think one they had. I think was that 2020
Summer's no, it was
Game
actually the
Awards
Game Awards of
2020.
2020, December
Yeah, it's
2020.
2019 or 2020.
Only
Yeah.
reason why The only reason why I remember that is because I was watching that trailer during moving one house to another. So I'm like,
Oh, okay.
freaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, being Nintendo and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't really expecting them to tie anything close to the Summer's Games
Yeah, and they were
Fest.
on the list for when they posted the partners. Like, in PlayStation, kind of like not really doing like a thing, but also kind of sort of doing a thing. And then also they underwhelmed, but they did theirs like 2 weeks ahead of time. Um, yeah, until like like, even EA like EA plays of like always like never great, but like there's some of those like were pretty dreadful. We talked about those like the early ones like in like the late 2010s, mid 2010s. But I feel like the last few have been pretty good. Where like they really cut out the sports shit because it was like it'd be like only be like 30 like only be like 40 45 minutes, but it'd be like like 20 minutes will be like FIFA and like Madden shit. It's like we
Dude, that was the most relaxing thing about this year is we didn't have to see anything by
yeah.
EA.
Well, we had like the Immortals AVM, but like I feel like the one since like during like I feel like a lot really like I most of these like for Ubisoft forwards, Capcom showcases, EA plays have been pretty good during COVID. Like they've definitely been a lot tighter and like just I mean obviously helps you your editing your the pre all package shit. It's all done ahead of time, so it's not
Yes.
live. You don't have any weird awkward stuff going on. You don't have to like um, people come on stage long talking like they're all pretty tight and stuff like that. But like I thought the EA plays were gotten better the last two or three they did. And they like I said they would talk about Madden, they would talk about FIFA, like you have to, but
Right,
it'd be like
exactly.
3-4 minutes and like it'd just be a trailer and maybe a little bit and that's it. Instead of like have Pele coming on stage or Juju Smith Schuster going on stage with a Twitch streamer and like with canned like they're obviously reading off a teleprompter, trying to like throw shade at each other. And it's very awkward, and they can't act because they're a Twitch streamer and a football player. Um, like, yeah, like them not being there, like I think honestly it does hurt. Nintendo not having a direct there hurts. Not like
Mm,
that
true.
Tuesday feels empty. That Sunday or is it Monday night without fucking PlayStation feels kind of empty. Like, I
Yep.
don't even need like I'm not even talking about the big stage presence stuff, but like just having something there. Um,
Because we're so akin to having it to be like Sundays being Xbox and Bethesda and stuff, Mondays being the late Mondays being like say us
you had
PlayStation
Ubisoft on
stuff and
Monday
then
as well,
whatever, and then Ubisoft or
yeah,
wherever, and then like that
was
Tuesday was
Nintendo.
normally for like Nintendo
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. You always had a pattern. EA Play would usually be like Saturdays. Um, yeah, like we definitely missed that like that long gated stretch of just like pack shows. And I like I said like it was exhausting just doing the four and then the two live reactions. Like I couldn't imagine if like back like we were doing it then with like six showcases. Like maybe like you always have the rando like Square Enix might do one or something as well. But yeah, overall, I thought Summer Game Fest, like you said, was the best one, or was the best Summer Game Fest kickoff show so far. Like he
True.
had, like Jeff Hughes talked about, like your show is always as good as the games you have. And the last couple of years, he did not have like he didn't really have the games, um, or like there wasn't enough to fill the whole show. There was like he had a few solid announcements, but like they were pretty
Right.
spread out pretty far. And like I felt like the show flowed really well. Like, it was 2 hours and like the pacing was pretty great. Like there's a little bit of lulls in there. Like you have the commercials. Like you're always gonna have. They have to pay the bills. So you're gonna have that. Uh, Xboxes was fantastic. We have complaints about like lack of gameplay from Fable and Hellblade. But like Starfield, like they nailed the Starfield presentation was awesome. Um, Ubisoft's like if you just watch the trailers of Ubisoft, awesome. Like they showed a ton of gameplay. All those games look really good to great. Um, it's just
Only the presentation
yeah, it was
sucked.
90 minutes that could have been literally 35. And then
Hmm.
Capcom is one of the worst fucking showcases I've ever seen in my entire life. Even though the shit they showed, totally fine. It just they
Yeah.
literally we talked about it like they began the presentation, the showcase with the trailer they showed at Xbox with the same exact trailer, and then that was it. And they ended the showcase with the trailer they showed at Summer Game Fest, and that was it. And like the rest of it was just updates on games we already knew about. The biggest announcement came out of it was they delayed Pragmata. That was it. Um, so like
Hmm.
yeah, like but
Yep.
I don't know. Like I will take this like like a long unnecessarily long Ubisoft showcase and a really awful Capcom showcase, like and have all this than nothing at all. So it's like honestly,
Agreed.
as angry as I get about the Capcom showcase, we're spoiled gamers. We're fucking feasting right now on games. Uh, and
Absolutely, we
yeah,
are.
it's like we're so jaded now because like man, like a game that's a 7 out of 10 right now, like we would kill for like some of those games. Like obviously like, graphically they're better, but like some of the games we consider like 7 out of 10s or like miss whatever's like would be like game of the year contenders fucking 12 years
Years
ago.
past.
Yeah, like yeah, the
Yep.
360 PS3, even like before that, like my God, those would be game of the year contenders because
Oh my God, during this generation of GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, yeah, a lot of those games would be
Mm,
contenders for like say the top five or like maybe game of the year type of material stuff and other like previous generations. I mean,
yeah.
sure.
Now it's like some of these games come out and it's like a 72 on open credit. We're like, all right, I'm not gonna play that. But it's like, fuck, man. If it was like 2019, honestly, we would be like, give it to me, give it to me. I need something to play. Yeah. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of gets me into the next topic here, Gables.
Yes.
Let's talk about 2023. What a
Okay.
year! Somehow we are almost halfway through it, and somehow if this year feels like it's been 10 years, but also feels like it's been 2 weeks. So we've been talking about a lot, Gables, about how crazy. I
Yes.
mean, like it's the last like since like 2016, it feels like it's just been pretty. Like we've had pretty great years. Like 2019 was a down year, but if you go back and look at 2019 or even 2021, like they weren't like they didn't have the highs of some of the other years. But if you just look at like the list of like eight, 8 out of 10s and up, like a ton of them. Um, yeah. So when we talk about like we talk about 1997, 1998, 20, 2007, 2017, 2018, like some of the greatest years in gaming of all time.
Yeah.
And I was kind of we were scrolling through we were looking at like I was talking to you I think it was Monday night we were talking about like I told you like I showed you my list I keep a notepad on my phone of
Right.
all the games that like I want to play that are coming out this year and then like I bold them on there that means I've paid for them and they're pre-ordered because I've talked about like I've accidentally over the years like pre-ordered a game from two different places and not realized it and then all of a sudden you have two copies of a game show up at your house like fuck um so like I do that now as like a way to like remind myself like okay and like I bold it and I put where I pre-ordered it at so I know even like the Game Pass stuff like I have an order by release date and then I have like a little section below it where it's like games I want to play this year that like don't have dates yet that are scheduled for this year um and I was going through the list. I'm just gonna read the list, Gables.
Okay.
So this is stuff that has not come out yet. June 22nd, Final Fantasy 16. June 29th,
Yep.
AEW Fight Forever. July 12th,
Yep.
Oxenfree 2. July 14th,
Yep.
Exoprimal. July 20th,
Yep.
Immortals of Adium. To be fair, some of these games are like games I don't know if like for sure gonna buy or like even gonna invest time in. Like Immortals of Adium, I have like pre-ordered at GameStop and paid off, but like I have
Okay.
Zelda paid off there as well at GameStop. I'm just gonna move that over to something else, and if the reviews are middling or bad, I'll just move it on to something else. Next up here though, WrestleQuest August 8th, Madden 24 August 17th, Starfield September 6th, Mortal Kombat 1 September 19th, Lies of P September 19th, Forza for that same day, Gables, same fucking day. Also my mother's
Yeah.
birthday. Uh, Liza P. I already said that one. Sorry. Forza Motorsports, October 10th. Assassin's Creed Mirage, October 12th. Alan Wake 2, October 17th. Spider-Man 2, October 20th. Those are games just with dates. Below that, games without dates. Replace Stalker 2, Stellar Blade, Jassault, which is that Don't Nod game. Uh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 games, Gables, that I want to play this year in the next 6 months. Some of the games are pretty big. Like I'm sure, like certain games, like Liza P. I don't know how much I'm going to play of that one because I played the demo. It's hard, Gables. And you know me, not a big. I respect FromSoft. Just I don't
Hmm.
have like I don't have that mentality with those type of games. Uh, but in like Madden 24, that's my side bitch game. The main games, my main squeeze doesn't know about the side bitch Madden 24. We keep those separate. Um, so yeah, those are just the games that like I want to play the rest of the year. I don't know if you have a list, Gables, or if you have an idea.
I do
Okay, here
actually.
we go.
So I have a list of about 27 games I want to try to. Yeah, I know, right? This is how, listeners, this is how this year has been in gaming for a lot of people, including Tyler and I, is when it comes to the quality of games to try out, this is an abnormal year because the last time we've had a year similar to this was back around 2017, 2018, and for the years that preceded after it, it's been sort of like almost a reload. Whereas we've had high games in the high eights, nines, and everything else, or whatever kind of caught our interest. But we're talking about from January up until the middle of June here, banger after banger after banger, and then after this initial day with everything leading off to the end of the year is banger after banger after banger. So that leads me to the list I have here, which currently stands about 27 and probably going to be more because of things I probably forgot about. But that Rhythm Final Fantasy Bar that was one. I love those type of games. Wild Hearts, Wulong, Like a Dragon Ishin, Kirby Return to Dreamland, because, I love Kirby stuff. Octopath Traveler 2, even like the wrestling games like WWE 2K23 is decent this year, which is kind of crazy in my honest opinion. But Chia, that was one. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Hogwarts Legacy. Well, I have a curiosity of that. Diablo 4, have a curiosity with that. AEW Fight Forever. That one looks pretty fucking
Mm-hmm.
fun, and I want to try that at the end of June. It's funny coming off of Street Fighter 6 and everything else, and all of a sudden I want to delve into another fighting game. Um, you have Exoprimal in July. You have WrestleQuest. Sea of Stars, that indie game that has credentials that kind of reminds
I
me
do.
of
Gable,
fucking Chrono
did you
Trigger.
see that it got announced this week? It's coming to Game Pass day one.
Jesus Christ. Well, there we
Yeah,
go.
save you some money right there,
I
buddy.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. And let's see, other than Seas of Stars and stuff like that, Blasphemous 2,
Hmm.
and the two that initially I saw gameplay of this past week, Liza P, which I've watched Maximilian Dude play Liza P, that demo. It looks pretty fucking cool. Armor Core 6, The Fires of Rubicon, I saw that gameplay footage. That looks fucking
Yeah, the preview
amazing
has been
because
pretty
it's
good.
basically a Dark Souls game, right? But you're flying in a freaking aerial mech and it looks like you could just explore little intricacies. It feels like they just built a world for you to pretty much like stacked on top of each other to go higher up, instead of like, say, wide forays and stuff like that. There's a lot of stacking inside that initial level stuff that I saw from developers and stuff. And it looks fucking cool. but but yeah, like Starfield, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, that indie game that looks like a love letter to Jet Set Radio and stuff. Mortal Kombat 1, because Mortal Kombat 1 feels like a fucking great game from what
Oh
I've
my god,
seen
game
so
looks so
far
good.
of it.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsports, let's see. Assassin's Creed Mirage, it's a return to form, and it looks like something I loved playing with Assassin's Creed 2 and stuff. I played through Assassin's Creed 2. Loved that game. I've tried playing the other Assassin's Creed games. It would not hook me in the same way like it would hook me. Let's see. Spider-Man 2. Obviously, Spider-Man 2. I completed the first game, got the Platinum Trophy a couple of years ago for the original Spider-Man on PS4. So I want to play the sequel. Let's see. Persona 5
Did you play Miles
Tactica.
Morales?
I have Miles Morales. I should play Miles
You
Morales,
piece of
but
shit.
I know, right? It's not too long of a game. I know
Yeah,
if
you'd
I
be
know for
like,
a
if you
fact.
just mainline it, it's like 6 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. Persona 5 Tactica, because of course I'm a fan of Persona 5. I want to try the strategy RPG thing on Game Pass, see if I'm really going to enjoy it or not. Pikmin 4,
Oh yeah.
July.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16, which is basically next week. Or this week. Actually,
It's
it is this week.
Thursday. We're like 5 days away, Gables. My
But
nipples are ready.
if you listeners or watchers haven't really been clued into yet, it's like I've said before, it's been one of those years where we have all these games, all these choices. We are absolutely spoiled with the amount of choice now that we have with all these excellent games coming out all at once, it feels like.
Yeah.
And there really isn't a sign of stopping up until from now, maybe until the end of like February of next year.
Yeah. I mean, we already know like the first like there's so many games that like slated for like big games slated for like the
Oh,
early part of next year.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I was so we talked about some of these already, but
Yes.
I just here's what's come out so far this year, and I wrote down a good chunk of these are the games that have come out already this year that are
Yes.
pretty big games. Fire Emblem Engage, you mentioned
Yep.
that one. Hi-Fi Rush,
Yep.
Dead Space remake,
Yep.
which I totally forgot about when I was like writing this shit. Like, oh yeah, that was this
I
year. Uh,
don't blame you at all. I almost forgot about Fire Emblem Engage. I played a
yeah,
little bit of it.
yeah. I beat Hi-Fi Rush, which I haven't forgot about that. That is one of the best games
Love
of the year.
Fire Rush,
Dead
dude.
Space remake, I love that game, and I kind of forgot about it. Hogwarts Legacy,
Yep.
Metroid Prime remastered, Gables.
Fantastic.
Wild Hearts. That game was actually really good. It just kind of, but it literally came out like I think the week Metroid Prime Remaster did. It's kind of got overshadowed by
Yep.
the Nintendo Direct. Atomic Hearts, which it's been hit or miss.
Okay.
People love it or just kind of met on it. Like a Dragon Ishin, Octopath
Mm,
Traveler 2,
yep.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Wulong Fallen Dynasty,
That's a
Dead
good game.
Cells Return to Castlevania,
Oh god, I got that
Bayonetta,
DLC. Yeah.
yeah, Bayonetta Origins, Resident Evil 4, Horizon, Burning Shores, Advance Wars 1 and 2, Dead Island 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Planet of Lana, Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4. That's what's come out in the first 5 months and 4 days of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then gave
Absolutely.
um I just want to we've like we've touched on a lot of these already, but we just gotta we're pulling up the Game Informer list here. They always do an excellent list every year, but we gotta look at just kind of like what's coming out for the rest of the year. And we're gonna scroll here. Gables, if you see something as I'm scrolling here, you can see the screen, right? You can see what I'm sharing.
Yeah, I can see what you're sharing right now. I'm just trying to. I may have to just put it up on my phone too, because that text is
Okay.
pretty small for
Yeah. Sorry.
me.
Um, but yeah. So
Okay,
I'm
so in June.
yeah, we're in June
Okay, I
right
need to
now.
go
So we
back to June.
so far in June, yeah, we've already like we mentioned we had Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4 the same fucking week. What the fuck? Um,
Okay, so there's a couple here. Apparently, Super Mega Baseball 4 is pretty decent,
I
from what I
played.
understand.
Yeah, you can. I played. I was playing 3 on Xbox Cloud. Pretty cool
Yeah.
game actually. Pretty fun little game. Um, Crime Boss Rocket City came out this week. Gables on consoles. I didn't. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Um,
No, I didn't.
yeah.
Oh,
Crash Team
avoid that
Rumble.
game. That's supposed to be the worst of the year.
Yeah, Crash Team Rumble. Um, actually, I
Hmm.
guess people were playing at Summer Game Fest, saying it's pretty decent. Um,
Wow.
it's unfortunately one of those games is gonna come out and no one's gonna talk about.
Let's see. You have the ports of Rogue Legacy 2 that's coming off the PS5, PS4
Yeah,
on the 20th.
Final Fantasy
Final Fantasy
16,
16,
which holy shit, that's gonna be fantastic. AW Fight Forever.
right?
Everybody's 1-2 switch. How did we forget the game of the year, Gables?
Master Detective Archives Rain Code. Okay, let's
Ghost
see.
Trick, Phantom Detective on June
Ghost
30.
Trick. That one is going to be out on the 30th as well of
Yeah,
June.
Oxenfree
July,
2.
you have a
Uh,
Legends of Heroes Trails into Riviera.
yeah,
That's basically for the hardcore JRPG fans right there. Then you have Oxenfree 2, like you just said.
Exo Primal, Viewfinder,
Hmm.
Immortals of Avium, Pikmin
Yep.
4, Remnant 2,
Yep.
Double Dragon, Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons coming out in July. The Expanse, the new Telltale, the first game of the new Telltale company, that's coming out. Episode 1 is at least. The Disney Illusion Island game that looks like the Rayman game is coming out in July.
Yep.
This,
Absolutely.
like, maybe not like a lot of big, huge titles there, but like there are like solid 6, 7 pretty good games probably coming out in July. That half of those no one's gonna talk about. We're gonna have them for a day and we're gonna forget about
Yeah.
them.
Oh, that's crazy though. Then like in August, like WrestleQuest looks like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Of course, you're going to play a lot of the Madden stuff, but I'm kind of interested in seeing how the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is
Game
going to
Pass Day
be.
One.
Game Pass Day One. I hope it's similar to that of like say Friday the 13th. In terms
That's
of that
basically
type of
what it. Yeah, that's
fun.
exactly what it is. It's a perfect Game Pass game too. So
Oh yeah, but it's just the month of August alone and stuff. We have not just the ones I've mentioned here, WrestleQuest, like Bomber Cyberpunk, like Madden. You can give or take what
yeah,
exactly you like it or not. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you got Blasphemous 2, Armor Core 6, Fires of Rubicon and stuff. There's that Goodbye Volcano High. I know that you've had
yeah.
some interest
I've
in
been
checking
pretty
out.
pumped for that one. It's just coming out at an awful time.
Dude, Sea of Stars comes out like 4 days after Fires of Rubicon. So it's like,
Yeah,
Jesus, that's
Boulder
that's one of those moments for me.
Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out in August. A couple that you kind of you missed here. Atlas Fallen. That's a game
Hmm.
that's been shown off at a couple of Xbox events. I believe it's coming to Game Pass Day One as well. And then of course Smurfs Kart. Can't forget Smurfs Kart. Um, yeah, so that's the big ones. And Moving Out 2 is coming out in August as well, which is got a pretty decent sized audience behind that first game. So and that Sombre de Amigo game is coming out in August as well. Can't forget
Oh
about that
yeah,
one.
that new Summer de Amigo.
Yeah,
Interesting.
fucking crazy. So then we move on to September here, Gables.
Yep.
I mean, obviously we have Starfield. We have Fae Farm, which is that farming game that was shown off at Summer Game Fest. Super
Right.
Bomberman R2, the Crew Motorfest, Liza P, Mortal Kombat 1, Internights, has a goddamn release date. Minoki's Night Market, which has been shown off, it was at the um, it was it was at the Switch indie showcase,
I
and
think that, yeah.
it was where it was I think initially revealed, and then it was shown off I think during the PC showcase as well over the weekend. And then Party Animals, which is like the I can never remember the goddamn name of the game that it's basically
I'm not
ripping off.
sure.
But everybody's talked about it, loves it. It's coming to Game Pass day one as well, but it's coming to everything. But oh no, it's coming to Xbox and PC. So September is fucking crazy, Gables.
Yep, absolutely.
Um,
Then preceding that is October, dude. I mean, October, you have like Forza Motorsports, Assassin's Creed Mirage, you have Alan Wake 2, you have like, let's see, Spider-Man 2. For those that like simulation stuff, City Skylines 2. The Alone in the Dark game is supposed to be coming out on October 25th.
yeah,
Of course, then like Monaco's Night Market for the PS5, PS4. But
yeah.
November, we're going on right
Well,
here.
like we have Lords of the Fallen as well coming out
Yeah.
in October, which that is a lot of people actually like. It's a pretty solid like Souls like game. So that's a
Yes.
pretty. And Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, which first game came out was like surprisingly was a pretty like actually it was supposed to be a really good game.
It was surprisingly good, apparently.
Yeah, so I've always heard a lot of buzz around it. It's actually the first game's on Game Pass now. I should probably just check that out. But go ahead, Gibbles.
All right, so you have Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, which we saw the trailer
It
of
looks so
that not too long ago.
fucking
It
good.
looks freaking good.
Yeah,
Let's see. You have Persona 5 Tactica. Um, that's what they basically have
that's
for
it.
November so far. November and then December is like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which I thought looked kind of mid in terms of gameplay, but it looks the visual fidelity of it looks pretty damn decent.
Yeah,
But yeah, we don't really know other than like say a couple of different ones that got listed for November. November, December are like
empty.
are almost empty. Like
Yeah,
there's something more that's going to be announced for
yeah. Like
those months.
we don't know anything about Nintendo. I gotta
No,
assume
we
they're gonna have
don't.
it. There's been some rumors about a July direct,
Yeah.
which but a lot of people have been saying they don't know. It could be a third party one, could be a indie one, it could be fucking anything.
Yep.
So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Um, yeah, it's shocking just how like everything is jam packed into September, but especially October, and then it's just been you look at um, you go to like November, like yeah, we're talking about here, where it's like you have Like a Dragon and Persona 5 are like the two big games. There, I gotta imagine that Nintendo's gonna have something there. I know we have the Pokemon DLC, but I don't think that's like part one. I think believe coming out in the fall, and then part two is like early next year. You gotta assume there's gonna be something else. It's weird. Avatar is coming out on December 7th. Um, some other stuff that like there's a lot of stuff that we don't have like dates for. Like I mentioned a few that I'm looking forward to, but like the Assassin's Creed VR games supposed to come out. It says come out in the fall. Um, okay, so we have the Call of Duty game. We have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that doesn't have a date yet. Usually that is, I bet that's gonna be late October, early November. Typically that's when it comes out. It's usually like the last like Friday of October or like that first like week of November. It's usually always like the week going into Extra Life. That's kind of what I always remember for Cocoon, which is that studio. It's formerly a Playdead. The people that made like Limbo and Inside, that's their new game. That is another game that's like it was shown off last year at the Xbox showcase. But it was shown off a little bit more. There was like some previews that came out last week as well. That game looks pretty cool. It's coming to Game Pass as well, day one. Um, it's kind of scrolling through here some of the other stuff we could possibly be having. Uh, Flintlock got delayed to next year. That was announced this week. Man, Ghost Runner 2 is coming out this year. Um, Helldivers 2 coming out this year. Silk Song. We even talked about Silk Song coming out this year. I Am Jesus Christ, which I'm obviously joking about that one. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the video game's coming out this year as well. Like some of these games are like kind of mid, whatever. Oh, supposed to have the Metal Gear Solid collection supposed to come out this fall. Mina the Hollower, that's the fucking Shovel Knight people. That's their game that's supposed to come out sometime this year. Um, Pacific Drive, that was a game that was shown off last year at the PlayStation State of Play that looks pretty cool. It's like a roguelike driving game, which I don't know if like that's gonna be like, but I am interested in the idea of what it could be. Um, Scrolling through here, looking at some other shit. Stalker 2 um, and replaced two games that I've talked about that I've been super pumped for a couple of years now. That we haven't heard anything about really the last couple of years ever since the war in Ukraine started because they're Ukraine-based studios. Sonic Superstars coming out this year as well. Um, yeah, SteamWorld Build also coming out this year. Stellar Blade game I talked about, like that's slated for this year. Sin Duality, another game slated for this year. Uh, just kind of keep scrolling here. Uh, Gables, we talk about all these
Yeah.
games, all these big games that come out this year. How dare we forget about Lord of the Rings Gollum?
Oh man, I've seen so many different takes of like Lord of the Rings Gollum and stuff. I've seen little gameplay stuff from Moist Critical, and I got to admit, man, I mean, I know we kind of joke about like certain games that are bad and all this other stuff, but dude, it in this day and age where a major publisher puts out a game that literally looks like something from like 20 years ago
Yeah,
without any hardly any type of like modern takes or modern types of implementation of anything, that's just abysmal.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy. That game was delayed. This was to be a 2021 game. It was the first game ever announced for the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles.
That's true.
Comes out looking like early PS3 game, and plays like an early PS3 game. So, um, yeah, I don't know who I feel sorry for a lot of people there, including the developers. Um, look like they're I mean they're probably just people that well what's the saying, you're over your skis here. It feels like that. So, but yeah, I mean I think 2023 um, will go down as one of the greatest years of all time. Just
I
from
agree.
the sheer stack of like eights and aboves this year. I can't wait till the year we can just like look at the review scores. Review scores not everything, but it's something. And I can't wait. I hope there's like a way to like well, if somebody doesn't have a way out there, like or maybe there is somebody that's like keeping track of like ratings, like the averages out there, like review scores some shit. Because yeah, it's gonna
I
be
know
pretty
in
crazy.
Open Critic they sort of do that for specific years,
Oh,
though.
okay. Well, we'll have to go look into that and see maybe
They
we
have
can
like they currently have a 2023 Hall of Fame of the best games so far.
just like 50 games long by the end of the year.
Oh, well, let's see. I'm basically the highest rated game for this year is obviously Tears of the Kingdom with a
One
96.
of the highest rated games of all time. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
But I usually keep track, Tyler, until it gets to like around the at least around the mid 70s and stuff. You know, when it goes to like to the ones that we don't count in terms of like the whole Critic League and stuff like
yeah,
that. But yeah, from initially what I'm just going on page 3 now. And I'm not even under the 80s yet.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's man. Like I said, we're not even halfway through the year yet, and it's like I was like I keep track also on my notepad here of like games I played this
Page 4
year,
now.
and
Yeah,
I have like I could just make a really awesome top 10 list for this year so far. Like I
dude.
said, we haven't got the Final Fantasy 16 yet.
I've come across different games just scrolling through this list right now that I totally forgot came out, but they actually got rated pretty good. Like Have a Nice Death was one of those.
Oh
Like
yeah,
Tin Hearts and stuff was got rated okay. There's one that just released on Xbox Game Pass this past week called a Dardane or something like
yeah. I've
that.
heard that game. Yeah, that's one like I think the grandma passes away or something like that. It's a very sad game. Um,
Yes.
I've heard good things about that one as well, though. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, forgive me, listeners and viewers. Just scrolling through the whole thing about Open Critic and all this other like game stuff, and I'm literally through 5 pages, and I'm not under 75 yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, let's see. I'm at 76 now.
Uh,
Is there gonna be a breakoff point? Oh, I've come across the first couple 75 scores here. I think that's a good stopping point right here. So I'm basically gonna anything that's above 75. I'm gonna go forth and count here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 13. While I'm doing that though, you just want to just stay a little bit more, Tyler, in
oh
terms of
yeah. Like it's just I I don't know what to say anymore. Like it is fucking wild how like we are just swimming right now. Like we always talk about swimming in sevens of just like these games are pretty good. Like you have a good time with them. And it's like if it's like not like an 85, like I don't know if I'm gonna have time for you. Like, I really don't, unless you're like just like some big marquee game that like, or like some bigger game that like I have ties to that I love. I just don't know how. Like if you're somebody like me or Gables that has a full time job, and we don't have like we are single guys. We don't have kids. We don't have a wife, nothing like that. Like I can't keep up with the shit. Like I just said, I have 19 games that we know about so far that I want to play this year. Obviously, a couple might get delayed, and some of those I might play for a couple hours, move on from. But I don't, I don't know how I'm gonna play most of these games. And it's like these are like there's still games that came out this year that I want to play, like Street Fighter 6. So it's like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do when it comes time to that of prioritizing like Final Fantasy 16. That's gonna be a big fucking game. Lies P probably gonna be a big fucking game. Starfield, that's a month right there. It took me a month to play Zelda. It's gonna take me a month to play Starfield. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it. Gables, you got the number?
Yeah, believe it or not, 115 games.
We're not even halfway through.
Dude, 115 games that are rated above 75, right, on Open Critic. Like 115 in total games. No wonder why a lot of people can't keep up with a lot of these gaming stuff, especially if they like more than multiple genres, because just from looking at the list of games and seeing what games that did come out and some that are good, a lot of which we really haven't even tried out because, well, if it ain't on Game Pass or it ain't any type of like interest that we got playing immediately when it's wedged with everything else, we're not gonna go and play it. Kind of like what you were saying, Tyler, and stuff. But yeah, man, 115 games above 75, and it's not even it's like halfway through the year. That is incredible.
Yeah,
That is incredible. Overwhelming, but incredible.
yeah. Like I was saying before, like I have a top 10 list right now that I could put together that would compete with some other years that we've done. And like I said, we
Absolutely.
still got 2 weeks left in June. So pretty
You could
incredible.
say you could say from like for the initial 10 years we've done our podcast and stuff, a lot of these games could have made it easily into like the game of the year lists we've done in the
Yeah.
past or even potentially win game of the year from pasts.
Yeah. That'd be like a fun topic of like if you go back and do like compare game of the years, it's like you could say well like we'll just like I don't know off the top of my head what my entire list are, but like all right, Tyler, take 2015 and take 2023. All right, now make a top 10 list out of that those two top 10 lists. Combine those together to make one top 10 list. Figure out how many games from 2015 would make that 2023 list, and it'd probably be incredible. Like I'd be curious how many games off of that. Obviously, you have hindsight, and it's been years since you played some of those games. But
Oh
like, if
man.
you can like find a way to like do it objectively, I'd be really funny to like figure out how many games would actually
Dude,
still make that list.
you want to know what's funny? What we could do by the end of this year and stuff, once we do have our gamer list stuff like that orchestrated and stuff, here's an idea the pitch for like say the beginning part of next year to where if we have like no news to talk about, right? Construct all the games that we've had from the past like say 10 years for our top 10 games of the year, stuff like that, and just have like a big old freaking tournament to see which one's the
Well,
best
we did
for
the tournament already with the 60 with our top 65 games a couple years ago.
That's
Um,
true.
we've done
That's
that,
true.
but it'd be almost like make us like we could do a top 100 list. We could take the top all 100 games and rank them. That sounds like a huge overtaking, which I don't want to do.
It
Uh,
does sound like a huge overtaking and stuff, but we could just limit it to say like a top 10 or something like that.
oh, I don't know if I want to do that. We could like or we like rank the years, rank the top just based off our top 10 list, rank the top 10 list into like a top 10 list. Uh, I don't know. It's something we got to figure out
Well,
off the
hey,
air. We could
it's
save
something
that.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Like,
that could be like a fun little side thing to do. But Gables, let's move on here. We have some other news this week. Some smaller stuff here. So the Nintendo Switch online games have been announced for June. We are getting for the base model, the $20 a year model, Kirby Tilt and Tumble, Harvest Moon, Blaster Master, which come on, and then Mystery Tower. Is Mystery Tower a Japan game? Did that ever come over here?
I I'm not sure,
Um,
but I will say
yeah, this
from
is a Japanese game. This is the first time it's ever been over.
yeah,
Gables, Mystery Tower, Game of the Year eligible for us. Fun fact. Add it
that's
to the list.
hilarious.
And then last but
Uh,
not least, Fire Emblem Blazing Blade.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. So there are a couple of different things from this initial update on the NSO. Both Kirby Tilt and Tumble and Blaster Master are Game Boy Color games. Probably a lot of people have not experienced before. And I wouldn't blame them because those games were kind of limited releases in regards to some areas, especially in the Pacific Northwest where I live at, where it's like you had some Game Boy Color games, but you could not find Kirby Tilt and Tumble, you could not find Blaster Master and stuff because there wasn't really a way inside that general area to go to, say, like a Funco Land or a GameStop or like whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But the fun fact is, I own Kirby Tilt and Tumble, but because of it's just specifically for the Game Boy Color itself, the gyro function of the thing, I would have to go forth and try to make do with that. So having something like this being updated to NSO, where you just basically the gyro sensors on your Switch controller, just sounds like really like a lot of fun to me all of a sudden. But Blaster Master, I heard, is a decent game on the Game
Oh,
Boy
sorry,
Color.
I can't take that. I can't take the name seriously.
I
I
know, I
can't.
know. And this is a game franchise that's been out since like the NES.
34 years old.
Um,
I still laugh at that. It's so fucking stupid.
but yeah, the Fire Emblem Game Boy Advance game, the Blazing Blades and stuff, that's supposed to be it's supposed to be based upon Fire Emblem 7. It stars Roy. There is like a bunch of different type of characters you get to meet along the way. Apparently, it's like there's one of three different captains or something like that you get to control throughout the game. I think it's I want to say this one was started Roy. I'm just thinking back to it because I'm thinking of specific characters in general from the remaining factions here, like Elwood, Hector, and Lynn, I want to say. But yeah, the game is supposed to be fairly good. One of the best games on the Game Boy Advance. There was two that were released for the Game Boy Advance in North America. That one plus Sacred Stones, I want to say. But this one's supposed to be the better of the two, from what I understand. But yeah, if you are still hankering for a bunch of Fire Emblem stuff, by all means, you never played this one before, give it a shot. Because I know it's dated, and I know there are some aspects of it that some Fire Emblem fans will have to get used to, but it is worthwhile to delve in some of these older Fire Emblem games because they can be absolute gems.
Yeah, it is.
Which
It is Roy, by the way.
Roy, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Next up here, though, we have People Can Fly. People that made like Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment, Outriders. Three games I actually really enjoy. Three really great sevens out there. Um,
Here you go.
yeah, three games I had a fucking ton of fun with. But they announced that they're making a game working with Xbox. It's gonna be like a bigger game, but it's gonna be a smaller budget game, like smaller budget in the sense it's gonna be $30 to $50 million game. Um, so they've obviously worked in the past with Xbox with like they did the Gears of War Judgment game,
Yeah.
so they've had that they have that with them, but we don't really know too much details about it. My theory is it's either going to be like a Gears side thing, kind of like High Busters we had a couple years ago, or there's been a lot of talk about the Gears like Unreal 5 engine remasters of 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I would love that.
I would love
Uh,
Gears.
dude.
Imagine Gables. Imagine playing Gears 1, 2, and 3 in color.
Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking back on those old Gears games and stuff and how much gray, how much like freaking
Look like you're playing on a
the
Game
black and
Boy,
white.
like a really
There were
pretty
some
Game
parts,
Boy. Like they're
dude,
beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it was
there were
just very gray.
there were just some parts where the games were so gritty and so dark in certain places and stuff that it really did feel like you were playing it like on like the color scheme of a Game Boy. I'm not talking about the sepia tone colors or the
No,
green type of hue or anything, but
well,
no, just playing those three classic games like on modern platforms, like kind of redone, even though the first one would be technically redone twice.
yeah, well the first one was a remaster, but like I mean yeah, like if you like a full but like a 4K remaster, but like Gables and Matt, like I mean I joke because like Gears of War is my favorite franchises, but I mean we are like 2023. Starfield's coming out. It's the first time Bethesda found a color that's not green. So
Mm,
two companies that like could eventually that could like expand the color horizon for them. Even though like Gears of War 5 is probably graphically one of the most beautiful games I've ever looked at. Um, a lot of colors as well. A lot of red. It's beautiful. Um,
And you could Batista bomb things in it.
That's true. I booted it up on my Series S when I was just kind of like finding something to play, and I was gonna do New Game Plus, and you can actually replace Marcus Phoenix with Batista, who does all the voice lines and he's the character skin. So yeah, fun
Oh
fact.
no, I just want that.
Yeah, so if you Gables, if you got the new console, if you want to
I
test
do
it,
have Gears of War 5 as
it's
well.
on Game Pass. So yeah, play Gears of War 5. You can play the story mode and replace Marcus Phoenix with Batista, and he does his own voiceover. So I was like, fuck man, I really want to check that out. But yeah, I'm excited. Definitely People Can Fly makes. I think they make really good games. Um, like not like game of the year or anything like that, but they make. I don't think they've ever made a bad game. So I'm excited for what they can make, and I mean, cool if it's a. I think I'd be more excited if it was like something. If it wasn't for People Can Fly, I feel like there's better uses of their talent than a Gears of War Unreal 5 engine remasters. But I mean, I'm down for anything from them. Next up here though, Xbox One is dead. Cables.
Yeah,
Matt Booty killed
but
it.
essentially, I put that. The reason why I put that article up and stuff is because it came this past week. The news of Microsoft is seeking. It's not no. They are ceasing releasing Xbox One stuff. Obviously, I mean that was a no-brainer. It was just something
Yeah,
that we kind of already knew over the better spend the past few years that less and less Xbox Ones were coming onto the store shelves,
they already
replaced by the X's,
stopped making
S's.
them a couple years ago. So
Yeah, I know, right? But
2021. So
it's just a confirmation that they're no longer doing like first party content on Xbox
yeah,
One.
I mean, I talk about like I've talked about this before. Like typically after like the 2 years is like the cutoff of like people making games for the last gen console. This obviously it's
Yeah,
different now with like now we're like completely backwards compatible. But yeah, you're looking at like really, I mean like PlayStation's really God of War Ragnarok was like the swan song for PS4. I don't even know what the last first party Xbox game would have been for them. I don't even know. I don't think Hi-Fi Rush is on Xbox One.
I would
Halo
say
was.
probably Halo Infinite.
Yeah, that was 2021. So um,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if Psychonauts 2 was backwards compatible or not, but yeah, makes sense. And like I said, they stopped selling them a couple years ago. Um, and I mean, I don't know if I want to play. Even if I had an Xbox One and didn't have an Xbox Series console, I don't think I want to play Starfield in that fucking thing. Um,
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I would not want to play Starfield on the Xbox One
yeah,
console, considering how much issues that system did have for for specific like publishers developing stuff on it, including CD Projekt Red with their oh the whole issue with CD
Cyberpunk.
Projekt Red when Cyberpunk
Yeah,
launched and stuff, and literally the original Xbox models, the Xbox One models were like the ones hit like the worst.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
makes sense, you
but
know.
only thing you could really, but yeah, like the only thing you could really do with like an Xbox One right now in terms of like game stuff, you're not going to go and get like some of the stuff that are coming on Series X or S or something like that.
Yeah,
You're going to get like maybe the indie games or maybe some games that will support some Xbox One stuff, but more and more they're just doing Xbox Series games now. And
yeah,
unless you want to go forth and stream and try that type of stuff, you're really not going to get too much with the Xbox One right now.
yeah. And then, like the sports games aren't even going to the last gen consoles anymore. So I feel like when those aren't coming to last gen, the generation's officially over. So, um,
Yep.
but next up here, Gables. So the Star Fox Grand Prix game that we've been talking about forever, that was rumored years ago,
Yeah.
back in 2018. That's that Star Fox F Zero mashup game that Retro was supposed to
Right.
be making.
That was
Uh,
a while ago.
yeah, so it came out today from Digino Gaming. They released a video today. I watched it. It is officially found out it was fake.
Wow.
Yeah, so kind of a long story, like
Holy shit.
yeah, so kind of long story short here is basically like a prominent leaker that a lot of people go through, they get information from. Um, I don't know if it was on purpose or what. Basically, released the told some people, and then they um, obviously released it, and then obviously everybody picked up on it because it's like prominent leakers are the ones leaking this, are talking about it. So then like you have every podcast out there, ours included, every big website out
Yeah.
there talking about it. And Jerry Schreier was actually interviewed for it, and they like asking him like, because he wrote a couple articles on it, and he didn't like he didn't say it was real, but he was saying like he was just posting like, hey, this rumor out there, and he like did an interview on it, and he talked about like it's one of those things where like it sounds like it's basically everybody's just talking to each other, and they all have the same information, but they don't really know like where it came from, kind of thing. So you kind of get stuck in that like kind of like that circle of like everybody's heard it, but no one knows where it came from. So like, but it all sounds very real because everybody's talking about it, kind of thing. So it's yeah. So
Right.
um, and that's kind of like it's kind of funny like to use like a NBA kind of analogy here. I listened to a basketball podcast, and they were talking about like James Harden, who's a very good basketball player, um,
Hmm.
future Hall of Famer. There's been rumors for about a year now that he's gonna go back to the Houston Rockets after this past season, because they're gonna give him like a bunch of fucking money to go back after his contract was up with the Philadelphia 76ers. It's been rumored for about a year now, like before this past season started, that he's gonna go there because he's got a home there, his family's from there, whatever, blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And a lot of these people that were talking, like they have a lot of information. They talk about people. They don't leak everything, but they talk about shit they've been hearing. And like one of them was saying is like he's like they went to like the NBA draft combine, and they're like he talked to everybody about James Harden. He's talking to a bunch of people about James Harden, and he's like asked them like, where do you think he's gonna go? And he's like 9 out of 10 of them were saying Houston, and it's like where are you getting this information from? Like don't you don't have to tell me exactly, but and it's like he's like I honestly don't know if like people like have actually heard something from somebody or if it's just everybody talking to the same people and they're all just talking to each other in a circle and nobody. So it's like it's one of those things where like is it real or is just the same people like the same 10 people are talking to each other and they all hear this.
Right.
So it sounds like it's kind of one of those things where it's like everybody's talking to like one person from one thing and then like kind of spread and everybody's just talking to the same people over and over again. So kind of use that in an analogy. So um, which shit happens. It's pretty crazy like that. And then like one like there was that logo that leaked, um, which a person that like did as a joke leaked it to
Uh
a
huh.
leaker. Then a leaker leaked it to like a source leaked it to their people that leak the sources they
Oh
give. So
yeah.
that's kind of where all that happened from. So then last up here, Liza P demo downloaded over 1 million times. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's pretty big. I wonder if the
That's incredible for like a new IP like that.
yeah.
I mean, granted, it is a Souls like, but at the same point, the whole premise of it, the gameplay of it looks super smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Just the story elements of it, like for it just seems fairly cool, like the settings, the tones and stuff, the different monsters and stuff you're facing off against and stuff, like the various missions or certain side missions. The one of the ones I saw from Maximilian Dude play, like the whole like 3 hour demo or something like 3 hours and stuff that he spent on playing this demo. It's like there's this one sub quest where you have to find the lady's like baby or something like that. She's suffering from this illness and stuff that actually will solidify like people entirely, kind of like with wooden puppets and stuff like that. But she wants to see her baby one last time, right? And basically, you find upon when you're searching around this toy, this like wooden baby, right? You don't know whether or not like if it's like a real one or a fake one or this or that and stuff, but you give it to her. You have the option of saying, "Hey, here's your baby," kind of lie and say, "Oh, hey, here's your baby," blah blah blah. Give her comfort. Or if you go through and you give her that and you say, "No, this is just a wooden doll" or something like that. It's that moral choice type of stuff.
Hmm.
Just stuff like that is actually fairly interesting to me because it's like it is a little bit more
Wooden babies are
like
interesting
prominent.
to you, Gables?
No, not what's more interesting is just the aspect of the morality choices that
Yeah.
you can make. And there are some times where you can lie to in order to get forth and like get one decent result just to comfort somebody or maybe to trick some enemy into doing something that is going to be beneficial to you, or just stating the truth and then getting past a certain element that would have made things incredibly hard or something like that. This is the standard sort of like good guy bad guy sort of choice. But the graphical stuff for Liza P, from what I've seen and stuff like that, looks fucking great. It looks like a better version of Bloodborne when it came to the visual fidelity of it. And that's part of the reason why some people who have played that demo are really fascinated, like really interested in it when it comes out in September, because it gives off that sort of like Bloodborne type of theme,
Hmm.
sort of like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I played a little bit of demo. It's really good. I just kept getting my ass kicked by a boss, so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna come back to this
The
later
puppet
maybe.
bosses.
Yeah. It's not easy. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be a game. It's on Game Pass. So I'm gonna check it out at least. But
The
I don't know
problem
if it's
is, there's like there's two Souls-like games and stuff. One from the makers of like Elden Ring putting out some in August, and all of a sudden this group putting it out in
yeah,
September. So it's
yeah,
basically two big games in the span of 2 months.
yeah. On top of all the other big games, so yeah, it's pretty incredible. Um, but yeah, let's jump into what we've been playing here.
Okay,
You want me to go first? You want to go first?
go first, Tyler. You have
Okay.
played a lot more than I have.
Yeah. So I've been playing a plethora of games. Um, First off, Gables, it's been killing me not to talk to you about this.
Okay,
Last Saturday,
what?
65 hours in, I beat
Really?
Zelda. I
You
beat Zelda.
finally beat it.
I beat
Nice.
Zelda. Um, Holy shit, Gables! What a goddamn game. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it because I got a lot more to talk about, and I've been talking about it for a month now. So it took me a lot longer than I wanted to. Just
Yes.
work's been crazy. Been trying to play it, and then life's been crazy. So like it took me like a month, and it also a very long game. I know like I beat the game, and I was talking to a couple people in my football group that like were also playing it. I'm like, oh, I finally finished the game, and they're like, you don't just beat Zelda. Like you're not done with the game. I'm like, no, I gotta move on. I gotta move on. Um, so yeah, I finally finished it. I've talked about it. Like I think the man, like my big like I talk about Breath of the Wild. I've said it over and over again. The biggest complaints about that game was just like really just the main quest shit. I just were the worst parts of that game to me. They just weren't. They were fine, but like everything else was like fantastic and they were fine. And to me, it's like the main quest is the best parts of that game. And like that game is fantastic. It's one of the greatest games of all time. I talked about, I spent 40 plus hours in the game before I even did the main stuff
Yep.
in the game. So I loved it. Like I would say the mission before the end, I was like I did not care for. That's like the one thing I did not like about like that. But it wasn't even bad. It was just like I just don't really want to do
It's
like
just
I
a
don't really.
subtle sort of like the calm before the storm.
It was just kind of, I don't know. It was just like I thought I was done, and then like oh no, there's another thing I got to do, and I
Oh,
did not
okay.
really that other thing I had to do. Like not that I was like oh, I gotta do something else. It was
Okay.
just like the thing you had to do was just like I don't find that interesting.
Okay.
It's
Understandable.
just kind I don't know. I was just kind of like I didn't like that part, but I thought the main story stuff. I thought the cutscenes, the voice acting, the the scale of everything. Not I don't mean like the literal verticality scale. I mean just like how big like these bombastic these like moments were is fucking amazing, and like multiple times, just like that fucking the Wind Temple boss fight, where like when the music hit and it's the Wind Waker music, and my eyes welled up, like there was just a bunch of moments like that in the final like the spoiler, it's the final boss is Ganondorf, um, and that fucking boss fight, like I'll say the boss fight isn't like one of the greatest boss fights ever. It's a good boss fight. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good boss fight. But like just like I said, the scale of it and the like the moments, the way the camera cuts, the cinematography of it is just amazing. The music, oh my god, it's so good. I can't. It's it's amazing. It's amazing. It's, this is we were talking about before the podcast about like Dave Meltzer, who's like he's like always he's been like really big on like giving like the star rating system
Yep.
to his wrestling matches, and everybody lost their fucking mind when he gave a he's always mostly been like a out of five scale, and he gave a fucking wrestling match a couple years ago a 7 out of 5, or well not 7 out of 5, but he made it a 7 stars, and everybody lost their fucking mind. Gables,
Yeah.
we always talk about the 10 scale system here. This is a fucking 12. Zelda's a 12, Gables. Tears of the Kingdom is one of the greatest games of all time. I don't know how it's gonna top anything. I don't know how you top a 12 out of 10. I don't know if it's possible. Like this game is fucking awesome. Um, Man, like that. I just keep like it is burned in my brain going into like there's this shot going into like the final part of the boss fight, and it's like forever like just this image and like the way it was shot and everything that scene is fucking one of the coolest moments to me in gaming history. Like if everybody has to play this game, I'm making it demand. When I run for president, I'm gonna run on two fucking things. Every game has to have a timer in it. not the console timer. That thing's unreliable. I need a timer when I save the game. I want to see the time I've put into it, and also everybody must play Tears of the Kingdom. There's gonna be the two things are gonna run on. Also, third thing, Pokemon trading card game remake on Switch, uh, but not like the new shit, just Gen 1, because everything else after that's trash. Um, but yeah, those are one of the greatest games of all time. A game though that might honestly compete with it, Gables. Final Fantasy 16. I played the demo. It's only like 90 minutes, 2 hours. It's not super long. It really just kind of gets you the tutorial mission, which is pretty great. I love the scale. Like I'm a sucker for like those big fight feels. I'm a sucker for like um, these like crazy moments. You know, like holy like with the music. I think a lot of people are, but like to me, like I'm a sucker for them. Even when it's like what you're doing on the screen, like when controls isn't as crazy as it looks on the screen, but when the
Right.
visuals are there, the like the like the music is there, and it just looks fucking awesome. Like I'm a sucker for that. And there's some moments in this when you're when the with the icon fight, you do an icon fight, is fucking awesome. The story is is pretty good so far. Like you play as Clive, who I actually enjoy. And then like he has his little brother Joshua who's sick, and like I like the story of like the idea of like I don't know too much about Final Fantasy games. I'd like to talk about over and over again. Like I beat 1 and 2 way back in the day on Game Boy Advance. I beat 7 remake, and The Stranger's Paradise. That's the extent of my knowledge of Final Fantasy.
Right.
But like the idea of like there's like these like families and like throughout the realm, and every it's like the king and like they're the next generation of them, their kin, um, have the power of the icon, and like when like they have like the fire ability, but like also when something major happens, they can like they like summon the icons. Um, so like you have like the Phoenix come out, shit like that. Um,
Right.
there's a pretty cool fucking icon fight that happens in there. I think the fighting system is really good. It's definitely it feels like they built upon 7 remake, which 7 remake is one of my favorite games ever. Um, they built upon that. Like I enjoy like I said, Clive actually a really cool character. And it definitely feels like you can feel like they have like morphed a little bit of they talk about like they really took a lot of cues from like God of War 2018, and you kind of feel like where it's like they're not like completely copying it, but like they are taking little things from that and adding it into their battle system, which is perfect. Like they're not
Right.
losing their identity; they're just taking other things that other people have done really well and finding good ways to incorporate it into their own. I'm really enjoying that. I can't wait. Like it's mainly like tutorial stuff. Like most of it is like obviously just learning the battle system and like kind of it's like literally like I said the first couple hours of the game. But also the big thing is they mentioned like they like the inspiration behind this is like Game of Thrones, which Gables. I'm someone that watched all Game of Thrones and watched the first like 5 seasons like 3 or 4 times. Um, we are one scene of a guy fucking his sister doggy style away from this being the Game of Thrones pilot. It's like
God.
it is very much like I'm playing like I'm like 45 minutes into the
It's
game.
a dark game, it sounds
Yes.
like.
Well, there's no incest so far. So far.
Good.
But well, to you, good. So people get off on that, Gables. I'm not. We're not.
I don't
We're
want
not
to
here to
know
judge.
that.
This is a kink. This is a kink shame free zone. Uh, uh,
I was not expecting you to say
I'm
that
not saying
in
it's
any
me.
way, shape, or form, and now I'm fucking just losing
I,
it.
I'm just saying. There's like you see like the Pornhub will like release like the top 10 search things and like incest is in there like always in like the top two. It's really
Ugh,
weird.
yeah,
Um,
it's always
Yeah,
stupid.
it's always. It's
Anyway,
anyways. Back to back to Final Fantasy 16. Um, yeah, I've like really like you can definitely tell like they are influenced by that by Game of Thrones. Which hey, as long as they just
okay,
didn't watch the last season, I'm all for. Just or like even if you watch the last season, hopefully they're like, hey, that's trash. Let's just throw that out. Um, but yeah, like I'm so far really enjoying it. I love like and everything you do in the demo carries over the main game, which I love those.
That's
I'm
awesome.
always a fan of those. Like that's the reason. Like last year I played Strangers of Paradise is because that they had that demo that you carry over like 4 or 5 hours and you can carry over the gameplay. Wolong really this year, same thing. I played the demo because of that. So I hope you know more games do stuff like that when they put out demos. Is like it's just like hey, it's the first 2 3 hours of the game. Here you go. So yeah, that I played that, loving that so far. Another game I've been playing, Gables. I actually beat that today. Actually not too long before we started recording. Um, Planet of Lana is a game that came out. It came out
Oh,
Game Pass day one. It is very much a I think Wishfully is the name of the studio that made it, but it is like a Limbo Inside style game. But you have like you play as Lana, who is like she's like you're on a planet. Obviously, it's Planet of Lana, but some like aliens invade your planet, and it's like but like the people like they live in like tribes, like kind of like they have like it's like everything's made of wood. You have like little tiki things you're living in, essentially, like that kind of shit.
yeah,
But then like they get invaded by aliens and like they kidnap everybody except for her, and like she ends up meeting this little cute little creature named Mui, and like you're just trying to. It's basically you're solving puzzles to get on to the next thing. It's probably 3.5 4 hours long. Depending on how good you are at these. Like I don't think that like I'm not a huge puzzle gamer guy. Like I don't love
right.
playing games that are like built around puzzles. Like I'm like uh, what's the Portal? Like I love Portal One, Portal Two. I fell off of just because those games aren't for me. Like I respect them, just not for me. But like I am a sucker for these type of games, like Inside or Limbo or like
Yeah,
Little Nightmares One. I loved a lot. Or Typo Man was I enjoyed. Games like that. And or like Somerville was fine, I guess last year that came out. But yeah, this is phenomenal. The art design is beautiful. The music, Gables, is made by the same guy that did the music for Last Guardian, which is just a soundtrack that's just on repeat for me a lot of times. I will randomly just pop that on quite a bit. It's like in my rotation of when I'm like working on something, but like I want to like be able to focus on what I'm listening. But I don't want lyrics, but I want to like listen to good music and helps me focus. That is like one of like the handful of soundtracks from video games that I
yeah,
are in my rotation. So yeah, I love the game. I love the story. It's no speaking, like no, they have like their own language that you don't understand, but
yeah,
like it's all about like really you and Mui, Lana and Mui are like working together to get past aliens, or um, like you gotta move platforms around. It's not like I never felt like they're super hard. There's one puzzle that I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I spent my like probably 15 minutes on, but I finally like just kind of brute force my way through it as far as like just guessing until I got it right. But like most part, like it's not like that. Like I think the puzzle's really well done. I'm always just impressed of like how well the tutorial is in these type of games. For a game like these games will have no speaking. There's no like prompts that show up saying, "Hey, press the B button to do this, press the A button to do," like it's just all like context clues of like you like they introduce this thing, they make it a really simple puzzle to solve to get to that to solve it, and then like they just kind of build upon that throughout sections. I always
yeah.
find that like just really impressive. Like I don't know how the fuck you even begin to even like think of this, let alone how to teach somebody else how to do it. But yeah, that game's fantastic. I don't know how it's not on my top 10 list this year. If it's not, uh, what the fuck? And last but not least, I'll run through this one real fast. Outer Worlds game came out in 2019. It's basically Obsidian made this one, who made the Fallout New Vegas. This is like the game I was playing when I was over at my parents' house watching Gunner because it was like perfect game. I found the game on Game Pass and it's like took me like a little under like probably like 15 hours to beat the game. Like, but you can spend like there's these games there's a ton of shit to do in this game. But I just kind of like mainlined it, did a little bit of side shit here and there. But it is basically like Obsidian's own like they're also made like Stick of Truth and they're doing Avowed as well. But it's like basically they made their own Fallout game, but in space. And
Mm.
yeah, I totally had a ton of fun with this game. It is like I said, it is 2019 version of Fallout. It's I think the characters are really funny. The main story is actually pretty cool. But you can probably run through that thing fairly quickly if you wanted to. But like I was having a good time just walking around doing side quests, talking to people. There was like one really cool quest where like there's like these two you go on one of the planets because there's like different planets you're going to, and there were like these two warring factions, and you're trying to like you can like work together and be like the middleman, like just kind of stay in the middle. But like one of them's like they're like basically this entire like galaxy, or not galaxy, but solar system is being run by a corporation, and they're kind of running like it's like they're all like treating everybody like shit. But and they're like there's one group that's like uh, they're no longer a part of this of that corporation. They're not like so like they kind of like have to run shit on their own, but they have like so that means they get no support from this corporation, and but they also want to get back in the good graces of them. But then there's this other one, like the other warring faction, that's like this crazy like fucking like religious cult, and they want like so you gotta help like it's like kind of like they're all like trying to fight over this one like radio signal or something like that, and like you can like this one group it's like that wants to get back into the corporation. It's like you can help them get back corporation, or you can go help this other group that's like the crazy religious cult by helping them like you can like build like get them like a printer for the to basically build newspapers to build their propaganda machine. So I'm like, well, fuck these guys. So I killed the entire village. I killed the leader,
Oh,
which then I didn't realize would piss off the entire village, and I had to fight like there was like 100 enemies. Like I had to fight the entire fucking village, and then I literally wiped out the entire cult. So I'm like, well, therefore, I had to help out the people that want to go back to the corporation. Um, so yeah, it was a very funny thing to me. I was like, just that little moment. I'm like, I killed the
you
leader.
kill the leader, and you freaking have like the hive just
Yeah,
just
I
come
mean,
right
it was like
towards you.
fucking wild. I ended up killing all of them, and then like you might see some like scattered throughout like the open world area. You might find people in the part of that cult, and then like now they just like you have like um basically like a positive negative with all these different groups, and so mine was 100% negative on theirs. So anytime they saw me, it was like shoot to kill. So you could randomly find them throughout the game, and they would just immediately start shooting at you. So yeah, I had a ton of fun with that game. It was a perfect game too of like saying like I had to stop real fast and take care of Gunner and stuff like that. So it was a perfect game to play where like I didn't have to like focus completely on it while I was playing, but I beat that. So that was a really cool game. So that's why I've been playing Gables. Tell me, buddy. I gotta go to the bathroom, but tell me about Street
Alrighty.
Fighter Six.
All right. At this case in point, Street Fighter 6, I've played over 50 hours currently, 53 hours according to PSN. And I've done a little bit of everything inside this game so far. It took me around close to 37 hours to beat the World Tour mode. I did a lot of things inside of World Tour mode. I not only did a bunch of the mainline missions, there's still one that I need to go forth and satisfy, but I need to look up a guide because I'm not too sure how I'm going to complete this specific mission. But I've done a bunch of the side missions. There's like maybe a handful left. I have maxed the bonds of all of the characters. I initially wanted to do that because I wanted to unlock their alternative costumes without having to pay money, which that is always a cool thing in regards to going through a specific game and then actually earning costumes and earning stuff without having to pay money in order to get these things automatically unlocked. But I initially was just screwing around a bit in terms of I just try to level up my avatar character to a certain extent because I wanted to take this avatar character into the battle hub and stuff and see if I can satisfy getting like 20 wins in an avatar battle. I'm glad to report that I did just that. Actually, a couple of days ago at this point, I started doing avatar battles and stuff, and I got most of them done inside of one night. And then yesterday, I finished off and got my last remaining few. But let me get into the avatar battles here for a minute. So for Street Fighter 6, there's something inside the battle hub where it's just the center of the battle hub stuff. You can do things called avatar battles, and basically what those are is like you take your creative character from the single player mode, you get the duke, you get to face off against other players from around the world and stuff like that that have done the exact same thing. But while on paper that does sound pretty fun, okay, let's just take our characters to face off against other type of characters, so you'll literally have like these monstrosities of character creations and stuff will face off against you, but then you'll have like crazy ass type of characters to say like Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece somebody has created or something like that, with the whole like Dulcie move set and some stretching arms and stretching legs and all this other stuff. But then you'll have maybe like a random Homer Simpson or like a random freaking like Hank Hill or all this other stuff. It can be pretty crazy and funny and creative from what people have created and stuff like that. But that kind of falls apart when you have to go forth and face people inside of avatar battles because you'll basically come across people that have the same type of move sets, right? So what I mean the same type of move sets, I mean like they'll have a couple of different ones. Say they'll have Hadoukens, they'll have like the whole pile driver thing that Zangief does, to where if you get super close to him and stuff. I mean, Tyler can attest because I was playing like a couple of Avatar battles just to try to demonstrate to him how those things generally go.
Yeah.
And yeah, the guy I was facing off against, he consistently was doing like he had a dull seam style that he was using, so it was just basically a troll type of character build to where he could stretch his arms to get you at a distance, and he could do like Hadoukens, he could do like the whole pile driver thing for Zangief, and if you do like overdrive one that's even quicker to try to capture someone with that type of move. But yeah, when you face off against Avatar characters that are under level, say to you, I mean it's more fair of a fight, you know, in that course, unless it's like say 20 or 30 levels above, like lower or something like that, then that kind of becomes trivial. But the one thing I've learned from doing the Avatar battles is you don't want to initiate. Okay, it's like okay, here I want to play some like Avatar battles or something like that, because from what I have been understanding is you'll constantly have Avatar characters that are higher level to you. I'm talking about not just like a couple levels. I'm talking about like maybe 10 or 20 levels above. And for one case, in one story, I will tell you, Tyler, I came across a character. Let's see. This character was already maxed out at level 100 in single player mode. So this dude must have spent close to about 70 hours doing that shit. And the funniest part about it is the dude's skill level wasn't that
Hmm.
great, but I still wasn't managed to beat him because he had so much fucking padding on his HP, right? I was at level 65. He's at level 100. He is using like the same type of moves, like the Scrooge Pile Driver, the Hadoukens, the this and that, but it's just enough to where I'm not able to beat him because of how much health and defense he has when I'm hitting specific moves. That made the game in and of itself after the initial couple different tries, because I wanted to do this challenge because I want to see, hey, maybe I could take a round from him. And yeah, I actually did take one round from him because he was being stupid by continuously lunging forward, like doing the he's basically trying to do a jump, right? He's probably trying to jump towards you, right? And so what did I do? I counter with the double lariat of Zangief. And he did it like about 5 or 6 different times in like the span of like a minute. And the funniest part about it is I was just basically doing a similar tactic that I use with Ryu, which is like I wait, I don't move either forward or backwards. I'm just staying neutral, and then I jump neutral to try to catch people off guard when they're trying to do aerial attacks or they're trying to do like some sort of stupid crap. And then when they try to jump overhead, I can just do like an anti-air sort of move, either a Shoryuken or like the crouching like heavy punch and stuff, which will do like an uppercut like while you're crouched. And the funniest part about it is like even though he did win like all the matches that he was facing me with, and he had like a freaking what was it like a crazy amount of a win streak, like a 45, I think like a 45 like a win streak or something like that. That that avatar stuff could be so abusable.
Hmm.
So for anybody that's interested in trying out Street Fighter 6 in terms of its world tour mode, like in terms of like battle hub stuff, if you want to do trophy hunting things, my suggestion to you is finish the single player world tour mode first. Get as high as level as you possibly can. Bond, like do all the bonds and stuff like that to maximize with every character. Play the different character styles because you'll get more moves that way to customize your character and then get a whole bunch of different supers that you can customize and stuff. But as soon as you're done with that, if you want to do battle hub stuff, do avatar battles that way. But a lot of the other different times I had been spending is actually testing out different people in regards to the whole sitting at the arcade cabinets, you know, like having your specific character that you play. Inside your profile thing, you can set to a specific character you want to play and what control style. It's not like you go to a select screen and all of a sudden you go through and select this character or select that character. It's already predetermined what character you're going to want to play as. I ended up I ended up like doing like 100 different battles or something like that in the battle hub across doing avatar battles and also doing regular stuff. I've won over 30 games in regards to I'm getting close to winning 30 matches inside the Battle Hub stuff. I'm actually at 23. Actually, when it comes to the Avatar stuff and the regular fighting stuff, they combine in terms of the matches that you've played and also what you've won. With the oddity being winning 20 of the Avatar matches, there's one for like there's also one for the fighting grounds when you're doing like ranked matches and stuff. In order to unlock one trophy, I think it's like winning like you basically have to play like about 100 matches. I've played about 6 so far. I predominantly use Ryu. Bunch of players out there to where, yeah, it's unavoidable. You will get your ass kicked in this game, and it's the type of game to where, yeah, even though even though you're getting your ass kicked and stuff, this game is fantastic when it comes to that one more match mentality because the gameplay itself is so smooth. The online connection is fantastic. The whole like rollback netcode stuff of the Street Fighter 6, it's absolutely crazy that I've had matches to where there have been maybe some little bit of lag here or there, maybe like some distance issues, but they haven't been that much of a problem. And that's something that certain fighting games don't nail down, especially for like Smash Brothers, Nintendo with Smash Brothers with their online stuff that's so freaking gimmicky and so like unreliable in regards to some of their games that they put online to even like say Tekken 7. Tekken 7, you try to play that game online, like say for consoles and stuff, you're not going to have that great of a time because there's constant lag for some cases. But those only apply to like say specific regions or something like that to that. But it didn't matter to me whether or not if it doesn't matter in this game whether you're playing against a player in North America or you're playing someone in Brazil or in Ukraine or like in Japan or Germany or wherever and stuff, it felt like a solid connection, a solid, like, hardly any input lag, any input delay and stuff. It's fantastic the way Capcom was able to not only tackle the main issue that players have had with past previous Street Fighter games, which being connection issues, lag, input issues. For a game that you have to be absolutely precise in order to execute combos, in order to counter things at the time you want to do it, it is absolutely one of the best online fighting games I have played in quite a long time. And that's coming from someone that's played games online like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I've played like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I've tried playing that on the PS3 for their online stuff. And though that had like issues occasionally in terms of stuff, I mean, those are two games that I played during the PS3, Xbox 360 generation, had solid online stuff. Absolutely did have some solid online stuff. But this is another echelon above in its entirety. Not only do you have the connection stuff, but it feels like when I'm playing the games, I'm learning so much more than initially what I would have gotten by, say, playing, say, Smash Brothers online. I'm not going to learn too much about it because the lag and everything else is prevalent. Plus, it's there's so much more people that are playing online because of the crossplay stuff. I mean, I'm playing people on like say their Xboxes, they're on Steam, on PS5, on PS4. It's like it's amazing the amount of like not just the amount of people, but because it's so crossplays and stuff, all these different servers through multiple like regions and stuff, they have a max of like about 500 each for like that stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, the amount of choices, the amount of servers you can go on to, so you don't have to stick on to one or two servers. I'm, God, it's just crazy. Then like the amount of character selection. I mean, every single character has their own unique gimmicks. They have their own unique type of feel to them. I've played a bunch as Ryu, but I've also played some as Chun Li. I've also played some as Cammy and stuff. I've tried out Luke a couple different times and stuff, but I'm having so much fun playing the characters that I've initially have played so far. I haven't even touched playing like say as Manon or Marisa or like JP or something like that, one of the trickier characters to master and stuff. But when you go on, like to the leaderboards of Street Fighter 6 throughout the game and stuff, like the top 500 sort of players and stuff, you're seeing all sorts of like mixture of different characters. There is I've maybe saw like maybe one or two Zangiefs or something like that, but I've also seen so many like JP, Ken, Ryu, Chun Li, and stuff like that. Blanca. I mean, there is so much because this game is so new still. There's so much of a variety of people wanting to try out the different character sets, trying to see what's good, what's not, what's optimal. You have high competitive players that are in their separate leagues and stuff like that, and they're separated from like say a bunch of people like say just starting out the game. And that's one thing I can say about Street Fighter 6 that is absolutely great is because they separate every every level of like player in different types of like leagues, right? So it's like you'll have a beginner league, then it goes into like a novice, and then all of a sudden it goes like into like a bronze, and then like a silver, a gold, like a diamond. Like the diamond being like the highest pinnacle and stuff, where all the crazy ass competitive players have spent thousands of hours mastering every type of technique or trying to implement different things and stuff. That's available and stuff. And the fun part about it is you can enter like almost any league if you choose to see if you can go ahead and stack up or if you do this and that. The amount of choices, the amount of ways you can play people online, the amount of characters currently at launch that are so fun to play. This is definitely, in my honest opinion, one of the best fighting games I have ever played. It has that type of appeal, it has that type of credential to it. This is a case where absolutely Capcom has smashed all expectations inside of a fighting game. That's not to say that there haven't been any issues I've come across. The Battle Hub Avatar stuff can be frustrating and like pretty stupid because of how players want to go forth and create meme characters and stuff and kind of ruin experiences for others. The World Tour mode could be better, going through the initial thing and beating the entire story mode. I mean, the last couple of missions and stuff kind of like deflated some bit of some stuff, but there are different references to past different games. You you can learn more about the characters and stuff. There are other nods to other games in the Capcom series. While I completed the bonds for say like Luke during one of the last major art scenes and stuff, it is basically you and him playing a game on his TV, right? And it's basically a screenshot of Darkstalkers, like the game from like Capcom and stuff back around the '90s and stuff. But in another one, it's like there's some like reminiscent of like CVS2, like Capcom versus SNK2, and like these all these older games and stuff referenced, and characters referenced and stuff like that. But yeah, this is definitely, in my honest opinion, a contender for Game of the Year. Absolutely is a contender for Game of the Year. It may not be up there in terms of like say Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but by far this is the best competitive like fighting game that's come out in a long ass time. But yeah, that's it for what I've been playing.
All right. Well, cool. But yeah, I think it's gonna wrap it up for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all that, please like, follow, subscribe, 5-star reviews, tell your friends. Look down the show notes down below. Find the links to all of our socials. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Extra Life, all those things. Please check all those places out. Do what you can to help support us out and go on Extra Life. Sign up. Help some of those big beautiful kids out there that need our help. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for everybody. I was Tyler.
I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, play some goddamn video games. And thank you for listening to another fun filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables,
Yeah,
what does the Iron Sheik always say?
fuck Hulk Hogan. I'll break his back and make him humble.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.